And mothers in Hungary will be exempt from paying income tax for the rest of their lives if they have 2 children. This under plans to combat the country's plummeting fertility rates.
Yeah, so mothers with 1 child will be exempt until they turn 30. Oh, I didn't know that bit. OK, so you can have 1 and still benefit for a while. This comes as forecasts predict Hungary's population will fall to 8.5 million by 2050 compared to 9.6 million today. But we want to ask whether this is a good idea for Britain, because we've apparently got a plummeting birth rate as well.
Well, to debate the move, we're joined by the former Conservative MP, Miriam Cates, and the broadcaster, Steve Miller. Miriam, over to you first. Why is this a good idea?
Well, it's a good idea because falling birth rates are a massive problem, not just for Hungary, but across the West, and actually increasingly not in the West as well. So basically, if on average women have fewer than 2.1 children, that means that over time your population will decrease. But it's not just decreasing, it's the fact that you've got fewer and fewer younger people as you have more and more older people, and that creates enormous problems in things like paying for pensions and healthcare. And that is the main reason why tax is now so high in the West, particularly in this country. Now, Hungary saw this problem. They actually had one of the lowest birth rates in Europe about 20 years ago, only about 1.1 children per woman, so catastrophically low. And they decided to completely reform their welfare state through an all-behind family policy, incentivise marriage, incentivise having children, give people interest-free loans to buy flats and cars and all those kind of things, and to try to make sure that they do have enough Hungarian people to pay tax in the future and build their population.
Oh, sounds brilliant to me. Steve, you've got some concerns, though, don't you?
Can we get the potholes fixed first? Perhaps we should start there.
Absolutely not.
This is a ridiculous proposal for several reasons. The first one is economically we can't afford it. We just can't afford it. It would cost a fortune. And what would happen, of course, then is your funding for public services would also dip as well. So logical common sense says that's not going to work. The other thing is, if you're going to bribe people to have children, and that's what it is, bribing people to have children, unfortunately, we're going to have a strong percentage of those people that kind of have kids and then regret it. So my concern is, last year we had 83,630 children taken into care, that number would inflate massively. And the third thing is as well, we will have massive resentment in the workplace. Why should I go to work to be paying for other people to have their children? No, you have to make your own money in life. There are other ways as well that you can actually encourage people to have children. But the reality nowadays is I hear lots of people say now, I wouldn't want to bring kids into this world the way the world is now. It's not just economically. It's not just about finance. It's about the situation of the world, the war, immigration out of control, the NHS completely trashed. So whilst it sounds beautiful and it sounds like, you know, oh, Santa's here to say here's some more money for you, the practical application of this in the UK at the moment it's not going to work.
OK, Steve, 2 good points there. I'm going to put one of them to Miriam straight away, and that's the idea that you have 2 high-powered, successful people, one a man, one a woman, both on the same salary. Why should the woman get perhaps 50% more money thanks to her tax cuts?
Well, firstly, it doesn't start straight away. So to start with, you get in Hungary, you get very good maternity pay. I think 100% pay for the first year and then 70% for the 2 years afterwards. So the initial benefit is not about a tax benefit. It's basically meaning that the couple can afford to have children in those early years when you do tend to lose an income. And I think let's just be honest here. It is normally the mother that stays at home. That is normally best for the baby. So it's absolutely right to do this through maternity pay. But then really all this is trying to do is say to women, do you know what? We're going to make sure that you are not paying a penalty for having children. Yes, you are probably going to take some time out of the workplace or work part-time when your children are small. That's what most families choose to do. But if you do that, we will make sure that when you return to work, you will be essentially paid back for this. And I think just to the point there that who's going to pay for this? Well, who's going to pay for your pension if people don't have children? Because I think what people don't realise is that there isn't some pension pot with your name on it. Current taxpayers are paying current pensioners' pensions. And we've gone from 4 people of working age for every pensioner.
Steve, hang on. Let Miriam finish. Steve, let Miriam finish and then we'll come back to you.
in the 1970s, we had 4 people of working age to every pensioner. That balance worked about right for our welfare state. We're now 3 people of working age for every pensioner and fast approaching 2. That's a total disaster. There is absolutely no way that those few taxpayers will be able to pay for that enormous number of pensions in the future. The only answer is to have more children. So really, the question is, how can we not afford to encourage people to have children?
OK, over to you, Steve.
No, because the reality of the situation is that we have thousands of people who are sitting on their backside at home, who can't be bothered to work, who love to reap the benefits that us taxpayers have to fund. And those are the people that should be getting their backside into work and therefore, you know, topping up the monies for pensions in the future and so forth. The other thing is, common logic just says that this particular policy will not work. We can't afford it.
Well, it's worked in Hungary.
We are broke. We are broke. The way that you do it is you increase flexibility in the workplace, right, for people. That encourages people to have children. And the other thing that the companies could consider doing, which is more cost effective, is to have on-site nurseries for
But
families.
Steve, many countries have tried these things, and in none of them they have worked. Finland has some of the most generous childcare allowances in Europe, and yet has one of the lowest birth rates. It's not what women want. People want to know that they're not going to be broke when they have children.
In Sweden, it works very,
it hasn't.
very
Sweden's got
well.
a terribly low birth rate.
And listen, what you're suggesting is that the people that aren't earning very much at the moment should actually probably end up paying more tax to subsidise people to have their children.
No,
thank you. We pay enough tax at the moment.
But
I do not want to.
Stephen,
I
what
am
you're not
going to
understanding.
spend more money on subsidising families to have children so that they can reap the benefits of it. No,
OK, I think we're going to have to wrap it up now. Unfortunately, we've come to the end of the segment, but an impassioned debate there, impassioned debate. I think it's a fantastic idea, I must say. You know, I think people would have 10 children if they knew they wouldn't have income tax.
Well, I'm just glad. I'm glad that Hungary's trying it, so that we can have a look at the data and see what happens, and perhaps learn from that. But Steve and Miriam, thanks indeed for joining us.
All of you.
Interested to know what our viewers make of that one. What do you think? Which side do you come down?
At GB News, we are proud to stand for you, for the Britain that you love, and for the values that you believe in. We are your fearless champions, but we need your support. From just £5 a month, you can make sure that your views are always heard. GB News is the only news channel with the courage to say what the silent majority are really thinking. If it matters to you, it matters to us. Join thousands of members and become part of the GB News community today. Go to gbnews.com/support.